really this time again. We're going to be... let me first see if the UI is looking good. I think it's fine. For what it is, at least. And let's begin with the first roll. Let's go! And we're starting strong with nominating someone for the Victoria Victory Award. Let's see who's going to be the lucky one who will not have to spend their nulls for the nomination. Oh wait. Okay, so it's gonna be Portugal. And we're gonna start talking about Portugal. Also, I see a lot of people already putting in all those nulls to use. They're starting strong with Portugal. Okay, so it's... Oh my... Wait, is this all for today? No. What? Wait. No, nobody nominated anyone yet, right? I think. It's all from the previous tier list. Okay, that's fine. I thought there was like 10 nominations. It's the very start. But fine, let's talk about Portugal, who apparently has been up to some rough times. Their GDP has fallen drastically. I think they have been at over 100 million at some point, and they've dropped. They have lost a state, which, I mean, it's not that much, either people or GDP, so probably not gold or anything. There's a few rubber plantations, but nothing that relevant. Okay, let's check them from the top. Well, military, of course, not that great. Income is still mostly based on minting, as it's been for the last few sessions. They have quite a bit of unrealized taxes. Probably in the colonies they have just integrated, I assume. No. What? Yeah, average tax waste. Is it because of... Oh yeah, turmoil. Makes sense. Hey, Luna Baka didn't follow my stream so far. Thanks for joining now. So they have some issues with turmoil apparently. Yeah, that's... well, it's not all from incorporating, because once they incorporate, the pops get a bit more cranky, but it's turmoil all over the place. They increase... Oh yeah, they have very high taxes, probably because of the war, and they need to recover their money. They lost a huge amount of cash, I assume, during the war. They at least have a legitimate government. Helps that they have a monarch in an actual useful interest group. That's very nice. They actually have very strong trade unions. Oh wow, 40%. That's probably gonna be the most. Maybe like Belgium has something similar, but other than that, it's probably gonna be the highest. Still charity hospitals from the beginning. Compulsory primary school, protected speech. So in general, their tech would be great, but their literacy is dropping because all of those incorporations. They have elected bureaucrats. They're actually... Wait, how close are they to? They started multiculturalism, and they have a very good chance to get it because of the trade unions. So this will help quite a lot with accepting all those pops, though it might not solve the issue of turmoil. I assume it's mostly because of the taxes as it is. Let me see. Yeah, 1.7 million from decrease in standards of living. And from political movements. Yeah, they want people who... This is only causing 800 individuals every month. That's not really that many. There's also not that many. Institutions they still could increase their education, which I think they probably should, and their health system. This actually is might be quite a bit of a problem, causing them to have a lower standard of living than other nations, because health system can be a really nice boost. Get what 2.5, yeah. No one has 2.5, but 2 points. And reduced mortality and reduced pollution effects. At this point of the game, I assume if you don't have that much health system, I think pollution is still not that bad actually. No. And yeah, the core Portugal is actually all with bad standards of living. I think it's basically because of the taxes. The taxes are too high. But they need taxes to come back with their... yeah, they do have pretty bad industry, but it is a 3.7 GDP. So there must be a fair amount of buildings here. All its single digits. Not that much maybe. Okay, let's see. They could still lower their wages, though it would also decrease the quality of life of most pops. But maybe it would be better to decrease wages and decrease taxes at the same time. Do they have enough authority for something? They could stop bolstering, even if they stopped bolstering trade unions, at least they would stop getting plus 5% radicals. Still wouldn't be perfect. And they're encouraging resource industry. Though to be fair, they're encouraging resource industries probably in those places where they get gold. Yeah. So I'm not sure. It would be easy to test it, so I assuming it they checked it and it turned out that it's better to boost rather than add consumption taxes. 6k for luxury furniture. Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if they got more minting from the edict than from consumption taxes, because remember, most of Portugal is still not paying taxes because it's still being integrated. Let's see their industry in the global scale. Oh, it's not that much. Could change some. Yeah, I was wondering if it's better to be publicly traded or privately owned. I assume it's better to be publicly traded, though. I wonder how is it getting better weekly balance with more workers. How does that work? Yeah, they actually do have some automation because harvesting tools are pretty cheap. They're building more rubber plantations. Let's see, they're in the Bengal market, which means we can take a look at that as well. Very expensive art, so probably want to switch to photography as soon as possible. They do not have full market access. Oh, I mean it's 90% only, so it's not that bad. Why is it? Is it because of the convo? Or how? What? What? Why is it 90%? Yeah, shipping lane effectiveness. Yeah, I guess maybe I should look at Bengal just to see. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, they have issue, and this is reducing to 90%, which is... This could also be part of why Portugal is struggling a bit. I'm assuming the price of grain in Bengal market is, I assume, still super cheap. Yeah, minus 40%, but I bet you the prices are not as low locally in out of those places. Minus 24, plus 9, plus 63 in North Cape. Yeah, so this might be a big chunk of this. Plus, wait, that's... And yeah, it's compared to Bengali market, so it's still fairly cheap. Yeah, minus 3% compared to base price, but plus 63% compared to. Okay. Yeah, I just noticed. It's just compared to the market price. Still, it's a big difference just because. I assume most of it is because of the convoys. To a certain degree, the difference in price is still going to be there, but I don't think it would be 60%, 100%. 21, that's more like you would expect maybe in an industrial place. 12%, yeah, that's what you would expect. But I assume they might be even producing some of them themselves. I need to get used to talking again. So yeah, that's a big issue, but should be solvable pretty quickly. Not enough engines, they are not importing enough. They don't have direct border with the Austrian-Hungarian market, so that's their first problem. Glass being expensive, lead being expensive, coal, furniture, a lot of it. I mean, it's not catastrophic, but a lot of things you probably should work on. If it's over 10% and it's a good that's used a lot, I think you should be investing more in this. Paper as well, that's increasing costs for the government directly, pretty much. Sulfur is being an issue for a lot of people. I saw Russia also complaining that they will be needing a ton of sulfur more. Iron tools are okay, explosives, wood, steel is very low price, that's good. And it's just themselves, they're not trading steel at all. Opium, they are actually using the vast majority of what they're producing for themselves and keeping the low price. Grain is just, well, the price of grain. Assuming in Bengal the quality of life is probably much higher just because of the grain. I mean, for India, that's probably not too bad. 39 worldwide. So yeah, the Bengali market is having some problems. Some of them might be very easily solvable, like the convoys, and a slightly higher prices on those goods. But all of it together is kind of ramping up. That's interesting that everyone wants cars once they become available. Maybe I should be producing more cars. Though cars require rubber, and that's an issue for me. So they are still on. Actually, let me check so I have an idea of where people are with technology. Let me see Great Britain, for example. They're probably leading in textile. Yeah, they're halfway done through H4. Starting on here, H4. Got something done in H4, okay, and let's, for example, look at I guess maybe Russia. Mostly done with H3, just finishing it. Halfway done through H3, not halfway, but started on H3 and started on H4 despite, they're rushing Zeppelins. Despite missing 2 techs in society, which is costing them how much additional? I need to get faster. Wait, I cannot check this at this point? Or maybe I can just look at another tech. Yeah, 50% cost. It's just such a huge plus 50% to the tech cost. I mean, I guess Zeppelins might be worth it. But in general, it's just so rough to be like those, and those techs are cheaper just by base cost. It's even if you disregard the fact it's almost anarchism is almost done. Those two would cost about the same as this one with the penalty. Okay, so now I have a bit of an idea where people are. Now let's look at Portugal. More than halfway done through H3 in production, but no tech for oil, no tech for electricity. That's all not ideal. They don't have much use for rubber, I think, with their current techs. Military, halfway done with H3, which is probably a problem for them because I think Germany was very much ahead in military. So that caused a bigger problem, not just in numbers, but in quality. And they're getting minting first. They're actually pretty good on society, which considering it's colonialism and minting. And they actually have more than halfway done with Zeppelins. That's not too bad actually. Society is probably what they should be focusing, and they have quite a few techs in this. Probably they will want to switch into production then, but it's honestly not too bad. They could have a bit more innovation from universities, and their literacy is tanking, so their tech research rate is gonna be slowing down. And I was surprised they were not researching more before. Of course, more minting and just basic stuff to be able to build more plantations and mines, which I think is a reasonable choice of companies. That 30% construction bonus is huge. Okay, so unfortunately it looks like that I was very interested in how the Portuguese game is gonna turn out, and it looks like with the conflict with Germany and the sudden fall, they are falling on some tough times currently. Let me think, where does it place them? I think they are in C at the moment. I think they're in C. They might be able to recover because, like, if the GDP has fallen this quickly, once they get rid of their turmoil, which is reducing construction, tax waste, and so on, once they get their market fixed, especially those issues with convoys, and they pay down their interest, their credit, so they can lower the taxes. This will also probably increase their GDP by a fair amount. So they might be able to recover quite a bit, but I think the golden era of Portugal might be behind us. We'll see how it goes later, but it's not looking great, unfortunately. At least at the very moment. I forgot to remove the spinning wheel, but that's not an issue. Also, Portugal got nominated for the Victor. Right, it was Victor because there's the ultimate underdog and the sick man. Okay, and let's go. Yeah, it's we'll see. They might be able to recover quite quickly, but it also depends. They are getting multiculturalism, and they are annexing, integrating a lot of stuff, so that might be helping them as well. They might be switching from minting only economy. Yeah, though Germany breathing on their back is an issue, definitely. And now let's switch to Japan. Oops. Japan's still doing some light colonization in, for example, the beautiful state of Eastern Guinea. They have a lot of money, they have a lot of reserves, fair amount of construction. 500. Let's see. I saw Russia had over 1,000. Italy, how much do they have construction? 500. Okay. Portugal had like 300, I think. Yeah, even less. And Americans? 600. Yeah, so Mexico does have more construction, though it's not by much. Let's see their current laws. Small amount of radicals, not too much of an issue. Good legitimate government, that's always really nice. I think that really helps with keeping radicals low if you avoid being unacceptable. And also 50% enactment time, honestly I think it sucks a lot not being able to get laws through quickly. They have very strong rural people, that's interesting. And petite bourgeoisie already at 14% almost. They still have monarchy. Their monarch is industrialist, and another one is also industrialist. Not really great ideology, so nothing worth to do with them. Well, voting cultural exclusion, which I believe should allow them to accept Koreans and Chinese, which should be pretty nice for the near future. They are switching into total separation of church and state, which will help them with their religion, because I think in this area there's a lot of Shinto and Buddhism, though I think as well, are they considered to be yeah, but I want to check the religion though. Oh yeah, Buddhist and Eastern, and that's one Eastern, so they should be accepted even in the current freedom of conscience. There are different religions in that's the Buddhism and that's the Buddhism, so they should be fine with those. I'm not entirely sure why they're switching to total separation, but maybe there are religions that I'm not aware of. Appointed bureaucrats still. No, they are doing mighty fine on bureaucracy, so that's not too much of an issue either way. No home affairs, laissez-faire, protectionism, which probably should be going either for protectionism or free trade, generally speaking. And proportional taxation, which is very nice. Much higher income than they would have otherwise. Homesteading, home exploitation, dedicated, police force, public schools, public health, insurance, very nice. No legal guardianship, so they still have a bit of a boost in their population, but I assume they have a ton of peasants still to... yeah, wow, that's gonna be a lot of GDP over time. Child labor are out, so they, despite having very high literacy, they have their institution at level 3, I assume. No, they are not using their authority or education. They're doing, looks like, focusing on colonizing Hokkaido. I'm gonna see how they're doing there in a second. They are increasing their law enforcement, increasing health system. That's very nice things. How they're doing in Hokkaido? Oh yeah, very nice, healthy increase in population. Are they converting? I guess they're converting the animists here. Yeah, and it's not accepted. So actually, once they get the separation of church and state, they will be able to stop with the promote national values, because it will actually do nothing for them at this point. They are still in their very own market. Still not producing even nearly enough manga for themselves, let alone the rest of the world, despite America and Italy already importing some manga. Engines being used by a fair amount and the price being still too high. Importing from the Brits. They are producing a little bit of their own rubber, but mostly importing from America. Steel being a fair bit expensive. Explosives, fertilizer, oh, glass, that's a lot of basic stuff. Paper, that's a lot of stuff you should probably work on. Coal, iron, of course, pretty good. Being at minus. Tools, pretty nice. See, almost everyone I see is... wait, they're exporting almost the same amount of tools as they are importing. So, okay. They're importing from America and Russia, and they're exporting to China. Oh yeah, I guess China can use as many. It's just a black hole of goods you can export to there. They have sulfur, well, a bit. How much more sulfur they can get? Oh, Japan could get a lot of sulfur. I wonder if this isn't something that they might be focusing in a little bit, considering a lot of people are saying they need a lot more sulfur. Yeah, the Japanese tool trade is a bit superfluous. Their oil is still coming from whale stations, of course. Very cheap grain. They're importing a fair amount from America, of all places. And Pontianak market. Okay. Yeah, there are some issues with the Japanese market, though at least they have enough convoys, which is something. But the fertilizer, explosives are actually very important goods. Glass and steel, of course, as well. And rubber is probably going to be expensive pretty much everywhere, maybe except the American market. But even then, I wouldn't be so sure. Almost done with H2 in production. Halfway done with military H2. And halfway done with H2 in society. Still not perfect, but I think they are unrecognized regional power, which is gimping them a little bit. Oh, their ruler has innovative, which is nice, 10%, equaling their minus from censorship. Otherwise, they would be really suffering. Minus 30% to technology spread. That sounds pretty bad. They're going for basic companies. Not sure how the 5% this company, how much is it worth it? I mean, the fact is you're gaining minting, but you're losing on the construction bonus because you probably have already built all gold mines you could have, so... And they're not short on money. I think ideally they would remove gold and switch to something that actually helps them build more industry. Okay, they're number 11. I have no data on how they've been growing. They're 10 million behind Mexico, which means they're only 20 million, well, 25 more or less, million behind Italy. They do have, I assume, do they have bigger population than Italy or not? Let's see. Yeah, they have 25%, well, 33% from Italians' point of view, more population, and vastly more population than Mexico. Yeah, it looks like whoever said that it's probably going to be Japan joining next as a great power, they're probably right. Just because they have more population, it's much easier for them to boost, though I think Spain, Mexico could still... maybe Egypt being the weakest candidate, just because of their population, and I think their industry is focused a lot on farms and plantations. Though of course just gaining the prestige might be a bit more difficult. Like, you have to actually spend a lot of construction on building a navy and military. I think that's where you'd get your prestige mostly. Yeah, third producer of tea. If you wanted to get enough prestige to, for example, compared to... Yeah, Italy has 900 from their military. So that's definitely possible, but it will mean less construction for their industry, which means being slightly behind in GDP compared to others who continue to focus on military. And yeah, while they might get into top 8, actually not top 8, just great powers with prestige, they might not fall behind a bit in GDP. So where does that put Japan? Their market is kinda icky still. Their technology is of course not that great. They haven't started doing any like grand expansion into Korea or China just yet. They had something great going on for them. at least at the current moment. They are getting a skyscraper, but that's... Oh, they are starting to build their military, actually. Yeah, I think they start with like 100. I think they have had 100 for the longest time, so it's not much of a change. They do have good laws, but on that, I think they're just going to be... Don't really see anything like great at this very moment. Of course, they have great potential, but other than that, I think it's still up in the air. Oh, apparently Italy is no longer first in silk. Let's check who is. It might be this next nation. Let's see. I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually Bengal. So let's see. Silk, silk, silk. It is Bengal. It is Bengal. Then Italy, then Qing, and then Austria-Hungary, who's producing all their silk in like one province. Right, I think. Oh no, wait, actually it's two provinces. It's all produced by my capitalist. I did not build any silk on purpose, maybe except like one or two. Okay, so it's winning in silk, which is going to be a nice source of prestige, though they are not lacking. Oh, they are getting a ton of first producers. Fine art. They actually overtook the Germans. Luxury clothes, dye, hardwood, glass, fertilizer. They are, wow. Well, it is to be expected, I suppose, with their massive population. So maybe I shouldn't be so surprised. And okay, legitimacy, they are not gaining radicals, so that's fine. They don't have a huge amount of radicals anyways. Presidential republic, total population, cultural exclusion, so pretty much all pops I assume are going to be accepted. Elected bureaucrats, which is what you want to have. Well, voting. I guess that's fine. They're going for agrarianism. La. Which I assume if they're... Yeah, investment pool is absolutely fine, so it's not that much of a difference, though of course laissez-faire does mean you can get more construction because you have more private construction allocation. And they have mercantilism, and apparently mercantilism is kinda bad because you only have merchant guilds for trade centers, which means less capitalists, who generally I think like they're better pops because they are higher. You want to have... I think you want to have more high upper strata pops than less, generally speaking. But on that, either protectionism or free trade are fine. Tenant farmers, how strong are their landowners? Fairly strong, actually. Still fairly strong. Trade unions, petit bourgeoisie do not even exist. Anglican Church, yeah, I could see why they're no longer relevant. What's their religion? Yeah, Sunni. Yeah, I can see why they're not relevant. Landowners. They are Democrat though, so they could go into more suffrage, so that would probably gimp the power of landowners. They are currently removing closed borders, which I think you want to do eventually, even though it wasn't punishing them that much because they already had just giant population in most of their states. So I assume there's just plenty of peasants everywhere. Not really, actually. Balochistan is one of the smallest one. Actually, not really. Some of those places are starting to run out of peasants. I assume they don't have any kind of... Yeah, any kind of mechanization. Industrialization, I suppose. It might be changed by AI before, it was never corrected by the player. And they... I guess like 100 million. Yeah, almost exactly 100 million peasants. still left. So yeah, that's going to be a lot of time and a lot of GDP over time. And they're already number one by 100 million. I don't know, guys, if it's going to be possible to overtake Bengal. Maybe if Russia got a chunk of China and another like 50 million population. I guess just in this game numbers are hard to beat, population numbers, which I suppose is fair. Other than that, censorship, nothing that special. They do have full law enforcement. They have a private health system. Yeah, and public schools. That's alright. Yeah, the private health system is kind of annoying because it costs the same amount of bureaucracy as public health system, but it works way less. So I think that's just pretty bad, honestly, unfortunately. Especially when you're not expecting to have very high standard of living overall. They do have a bit of a deficit currently, and actually they have a bit of a deficit with very high taxes, very low government wages. They could get maybe one more tax, but why are they losing that much money? They do have over 1,000 construction. Apparently, I think Mati said that they have the most construction in game. Yeah, they have about as much as me, and I have 1,300. Though maybe they are keeping it a bit too much. Oh yeah, because they have agrarianism. Ugh. Ugh. You guys need to select it more so I can get used to saying it. They have 50% private construction allocation. That means they are actually paying 100% more than Austria is for their construction, if you disregard construction goods costs. So yeah, that's a lot of money, and I don't think they can afford it as is. Because I think like running actually very high taxes over time, I haven't really quite pinpointed it yet, but over time it does lead to a lot of radicals, and radicals can be very annoying. Like the turmoil is unfortunately lowering state construction efficiency. They do have high police, so that's solving the issue a little bit, but also tax waste is directly worsening your problem you have already. So yeah, maybe they want to remove some of their construction and switch into laissez-faire. Let's see, tech production halfway done with H3. They're only now getting reinforced concrete, which I usually like to prioritize, though there are a lot of good techs in the beginning. And they're not going for electricity. I guess they don't really need synthetic plants. Vulcanization is not really something they really want. H3, not that much, but I think if you look at their military, they probably can have just so I can eyeball there. Oh wow. Yeah, and most of their stats are actually maxed out on available conscripts, and they don't even have the National Guard. Actually, it's not as much as I thought. And don't get me wrong, additional 500 units, it's quite a bit. But it's much less than I thought. Together it's 700? Yeah, that's pretty good. Still. They apparently they lost the war against Germany, but if they fully mobilized, would they be able to win, like in a hypothetical scenario where they fight on land with each other, with Germany? Would the Bengalese numbers be enough? I'm not actually sure, because that might not be. They might have like 50% numbers advantage, which might not be enough. They might want to think about prioritizing mass conscription, because once they can get 100 conscripts from a region, yeah, probably not. Especially if they are not able to train faster than Germany, and I assume they don't because they are behind on tech. Yeah, they don't have enlistment office. No, that was enlistment office. Oh, military statistics. So yeah, definitely they wouldn't be able to push without those. And they are halfway done with society. Companies just for building, which I think is absolutely fair. Now the only question is, yeah, Germany has, though I'm interested in, because for example in Heads of Iron 4, at least for some time it was more beneficial to go for level 1 infantry weapons, because they were just so much cheaper, it was worth it to get numbers. And now we're running into such high numbers of conscripts that I wonder if it's better to have a lower quality of troops just to be able to afford more of them for longer. Though that's probably hard to test because we didn't really have many world wars, and you usually don't fight many of those in single player. That's something that could possibly be the case. I think considering India has very high economy, very high construction, that probably should go a little bit more, but let's be honest, they can just get the tax and they would be in the positives despite their interest, which is almost 70k. It might be cheaper in terms of money, but population soldier number would drop too much. Well, population would not be an issue for India, for example, which is where I would be using such tactics, if anywhere. Still has the East India Company? You mean flag? Or on the tier list? Yeah, it's just annoying to change flags in this tier list site. Oh, the company itself. Oh, you're right. Okay, and actually, if they could, this is actually super strong. Damn, it's actually super good. It's established on January 1st. Oh, great, Paradox. I'll probably start the game with this, and that's why it's... Wow, Paradox. But it's actually super good. If they could get... getting those plantations probably would be super hard to be prosperous, because the annoying thing, it takes the average prosperity in the whole world, which is almost double what they have currently. And in different markets it can work very differently. Oh, it happened because we updated the game during the save. Okay, that's possible. That could be the issue. You're right. It started the day Jesus was born. Actually, Jesus was apparently born like 3 or 4 years before Christ. You know, it was like a prequel, him being born. But 20% of convoys would be absolutely huge. Not even talking about the current issues with their market, but overall just for trade. And yeah, Jacha mentioned that he has he has like 30k convoys. Bengal has 60k. Let's see, for example, Germany. How many convoys do they have? Just for a quick comparison, so I know where I'm standing. They have almost identical number of convoys, which is interesting. Which means if they had that company, they would have 3k more or less. 25k more convoys. Okay, so Great Britain is still very strong with convoys. Oh, Georgia has 56k. Okay, that's a lot more. 15k for Russia. Right, yeah, that's a ton of convoys. That's a ton of convoys. I have barely 7k, but that's not surprising considering the state of my absolute state of my coast. Not that surprising, unfortunately. And Italy has 15k. So yeah, USA is absolutely dominating the market for convoys. Yes, I think Bengal goes into A. They won't go. They are close to getting into S, but because they have some problems with their cash flow currently, and they are behind on tech, and their market is imperfect in many ways. I think they're not in the S region just yet, but I think it's going to be very hard to stop them from getting into S tier and the first stop in the end of the game. Honestly, just even if you wanted to gimp them somehow, it's not like they have any overseas territories that are well, technically speaking, they do have overseas territories, I guess, but they are very strong on land, and almost all of their possessions are in just one big clump. And even like when you think about strategic regions, it's just 2 strategic regions, which also makes it much easier to defend. Though I guess they are split into 3, which is, or 4 that you could land over here, and that would for Paradox it would count as a totally different place. So yeah, they have to manage 4 regions to defend themselves against naval invasion, but still very defensible overall, I think. So I don't think there will be much stopping them in the future. But currently they still have some things to fix before they really go into S tier. Yeah, I'm interested in how much you're actually paying for those convoys, Joacho. It's gonna be interesting to see. And now Brazil. Will be interesting to see how they're doing. They have 15 million, which is quite a bit less than Mexico, assuming they have a absolutely beautiful flag. And alright, government, still very strong, well, not very strong, but relatively strong landowners and church for this part of the game. A huge amount of radicals, almost 50% of the country, which is getting to a point where things are annoying. No loyalists to speak of. Presidential republic, landed voting, racial segregation, which I assume is not too much of a problem. Yeah, wait. Actually, no. This might be have something to do with the amount of radicals they have. Let's see. Is the majority from discrimination? No. Most is events and other reasons. So who knows why? Well, I wouldn't be surprised if there was like Croatians. Yeah, there is 4 Croatians, and one of them is unhappy. Yeah, of course. They probably have quite high literacy, that's why they're so pissed. These Franco-Canadians, English, Armenians, they had to go somewhere, because Armenians certainly are not in Armenia. There is more of them though, they are slowly growing. Yeah, Croatians have left to everywhere except the actual Croatia. Though they are growing, it's one of my best states honestly, but for some reason it's also like the only state outside of those I have recently conquered that has turmoil. I have no clue why they're so pissed. What's this about? But that's just my issues with coastal states. Just could be just a whole stream on its own. I have no clue how some things work in those areas. They have to keep high taxes because of the issues with their money, which is not helping with the radicals, though they could maybe optimize. If they switch into tobacco, they could make a bit more money. Luxury furniture as well, which would be enough to put them in the positive at least. Could also lower the wages, maybe not fully, but at least a little bit, so they are gaining money instead of losing it. We have 400 construction, which is respectable. But yeah, they probably would want to be at least in the positive because they do have a fair amount of interest. They do have last affair, so that's helping a lot. But 10% it's not nothing, unfortunately. Will they spend their authority or green and grass campaign in Antofagasta? Yeah, probably at this current moment, maybe I would have switched it into more taxes. Let's take a look at the American market. Even the Americans don't have enough cars. I don't think anyone in the world has enough cars. Germany is the #1 producer of cars. of course. I wonder how many I would produce if I switched my engines more into cars. Well, then I don't have enough rubber anyway, so well, that's kind of foolish to even consider. Glass is very expensive, engines are very expensive, groceries, which is not helping with the radical issue. Purchased for slaves, of course, that's the American market for you. And explosives, expensive. That's a lot of expensive stuff in the American market. The stream keeps freezing. Let me see if it's something on my end. No, on what I'm sending to Twitch is absolutely sweet, perfect. So maybe try refreshing the page. Still buffering. A lot of cheap stuff in American market, like guns, hardwood, and oil. Yeah, guns are very cheap in American market. And the clippers, yeah, clippers are also very cheap. I guess fabric is there. Sulfur is cheap. Oh, probably America has a huge potential for sulfur. So all you people complaining about sulfur. Steel is, and honestly, I have to say, I thought America would have a negative price on rubber. I have to say the American market is not great. I mean, 5% more for coal or steel, it's not really relevant, but it's not helping things, and there's a lot of stuff that's fairly expensive. A lot of places have expensive fine arts too. Japan needs to really get working on those mangas. Tech is not great, but that's still the even catching up on the 2 or 3 techs is pretty hard in this game. Their literacy is okay, but they're not using it fully. They would need a good amount more universities, probably over the cap as well, if they want to catch up. Yeah, they don't have electricity, though they do have oil and rubber, so that's the important stuff. And the reinforced concrete. Military, totally abandoned, that's fair, because there's no one, though maybe like, I guess America would protect them if something happens, but America is probably not that strong in the military as well, even if you consider their conscripts. So maybe, and we will be getting into world wars, I mean soonish. So I'm not sure if just totally ignoring your military is a viable strategy. And they are barely started on freeing society. That's not great as well. Maybe they could. Where's the next minting? It's next age. So they cannot solve their cash problems with more minting. Maybe taxation capacity would help them. Nah, they have it full. Yeah, ignoring military is a great strategy until you have to fight. They do have the minting company, which I suppose is good enough. 5% is meaningful. And I guess throughput bonus also applies in here, so that's also more gold. They are at least all prosperous, so that's nice as well. I gotta say, I'm not in love with the Brazil as it is right now. 56 million and 15 million population. They are not any close to be getting into a GP. Currently they're not even a great power. Major power. And not they are leading producer in gold, rubber and clippers. Clippers is not really great. Rubber is something, and gold is of course useful for you, but not for the global economy. Let's see the rubber top producers. Mexico, Portugal and Brazil. Wait, Portugal is the number 2 producer of rubber? Brazil is producing about the same as Germany, that's not great, and Belgium. What they're building? More rubber plantations, but because, oh my god, minus 50%. Is it because of the Amazon jungle? Yeah. And of course radicals. Yes, it's so Portugal is not surprising that they have a ton of rubber. But are they actually using it? The Bengali market. Where's rubber here? Yeah, they are actually not using rubber in the Bengali market at all. It's all going to France, Germany, Great Britain, and that's that. Also some to Italy and Spain. They're not using any of it for themselves. That's some dedication to the world economy, I have to say. Yeah, so Brazil, I think, also goes into C. It's just not really going anywhere in any way. I don't really see. It's just they also have some huge issues with rebels and discrimination. Just kind of there, but not. Don't really see what. Maybe they should just be focusing more on some. Then again, they are already having many issues with as much construction as they have. Are there any states with that maybe would be much quicker to get minus 95% construction efficiency? Slowed down construction minus 50%. Is this something Paradox gave them as a flavor bonus, minus 50% to construction? No, it was regional, I guess. Minus 50%, 60, 50, 30, 20, but that's just 6. Minus 6, so I guess they should focus here. Yeah, huge penalties to construction everywhere. Yeah, I think if Brazil could just go all in on that, get more construction and actually build up those rubber plantations, they would be in a much better spot. They do have laissez-faire, so it would be, for the most part, cost effective because the capitalists. How much would they be able to? Well, they do have a fair amount backed up at least. They have huge construction efficiency. Oh, also the trade unions are protesting. Is it the... wait, where can I see the construction slow? Oh yeah, they have instead of course minus 50% for 5 more months. Yeah, those penalties are pretty rough. Makes this rubber plantation building throughput. Whoa. Oof, man. That's sort of statement is from turmoil, mortality per turmoil, more radicals, and they have this place is just radicals pretty much. Maybe it's just Paradox screwing them with their like special events, special bonuses that are not that great. But yeah, they go into C. Brazil honestly might be worse off than Portugal as it is right now. I mean, certainly I think Portugal, they have at least like almost double the population, assuming they do not lose more. I think even if Germany takes all they want from them, they are supposed to be gaining, if anything. So Brazil might be in a pretty rough spot. Some American humanitarian missions from the north would be well welcomed, probably. Are those like the communist events? I actually have no clue. Or is it special to... Oh, you mean come to the rest of the world as with DLC? Yeah. Sure, that would be great. And just having to read on Wiki how every nation works. Oh, look, it's not USA. Next nation is going to be Ultimate Underdog. I can make more cars. And it's Belgium. See, the Ultimate Underdog apparently. Not a victor like Portugal, but you know, you take what you can get when you're Belgium. $12 million population, which is 7, 10. Vast majority is the actual Belgium proper. Their colonies are expanding though. Really, I think they are planning to have something like this eventually. Maybe they will. I mean, honestly, maybe they should just invade Netherlands. Just take those pops. It would be a bit of a humanitarian mission, honestly, like, compared to the rest of the German market. Oh, I guess there's always Denmark, and which interestingly, Denmark did fix their well, beautiful model. Yeah, they did fix their eternal war, which I think they gave like a thing that the civil wars will end after a fixed amount of time, which is pretty long, but still they have 90% literacy but 8 standard of living. And they're in the British market? What? Denmark is in the British market and Sweden is in the French market? I guess it's AIs that just doing AI things. Oh, also German market has issues with access. It's just infrastructure. They're just getting so much stuff. They do not have enough railways. They could be also running into issues with manning those railways, which is also a problem you can have in certain situations. Oh, well, I guess I'll talk about this when I talk about Germany, but back to Belgium. Apparently the only major power in the game currently, which is not true. There's also Qing, which is an unrecognized major power, which, depending on how you count it, is a thing or not. Actually, we have barely any even minor powers except from the players, because there's Ottomans, who still somehow are not the worst. They have actually a fair amount of GDP, considering, and Canada, and Netherlands, who are at last spot. Pretty good GDP still. I mean, maybe with all the colony, unless they pass multiculturalism, they won't be able to probably get enough pops. Are they integrating those states? No. Yeah, Belgium is probably the last nation I would expect to become a great power out of the all nations I mentioned before. But still, they are more likely than Brazil, for example. I think the population is just very important in this game for the numbers to go up enough, and especially when you need a fair amount of army and fleet. And this small, though, I guess they can build up in colonies as well. And yeah, that's probably enough just to get enough military. And maybe it's a good thing Belgium doesn't have much of a colonial empire, you know. Maybe they would not play with it too nicely. Public schools, public health insurance, no police, which is interesting, but they do have very few radicals, so it's working out for them. Though maybe eventually, when they're getting their colonies bigger and bigger, they might want to do something about that. Per capita taxation, which is fine. It is hard to switch out. They have almost all their parties in government. They have very strong petite bourgeoisie. Their agrarian party has no rural folk, which is interesting. They have very weak trade unions, but very high legitimacy. I guess if you have everyone in the government, then it is going to be pretty legitimate somehow. Jingoist, okay. Homesteading, which is interesting, and even despite with that, they have very weak rural people. That's interesting. Interventionism, which is fine, because with how small their nation is, they need to have a bit more control over what's being constructed. Rights of assembly, of course, very nice. Restricted child labor, so they could go for more, but they do have pretty good literacy, but they have low innovation. They are not building universities. They have property to women only. Oh, I guess nobody wants women in the workplace in Belgium, and they don't even have feminism. Yeah, the institutions are full because their institutions are dirt cheap. So they could get just police. Though police wouldn't apply to colonies anyways because they're not incorporated. So maybe? I'm also wondering, is the population... Where are people coming from? They are coming from Germany. So looks like Belgium is the only one who managed to pull the Uno reverse card on the Great Power and actually start stealing people from them, which is, I think, generally how it is supposed to work. But everywhere else, it's the Great Power sucking up the pops of the junior partners. Let's look at tech. Finishing production H3. Halfway done with H3 in the military. I wonder if they research anything here on purpose. Well, they didn't research ports, which would probably be my first go-to, though they are in German market, so maybe they just don't care about the convoys are not really their problem. And society is being finished. Maybe they are going for feminism, actually. Yeah. Apparently Belgium was first to get ironclads, though, well, they were, I think, or was it Denmark was top producer at one point? It's clippers. No, I don't have clippers. What? Are you producing clippers? Oh yeah, you have nowhere to use your actual ironclad. Okay. Yeah, that's true. It's it's not like just money or tech. Well, tech is part of it, but for example, Belgium could benefit a lot from edicts because they're so small and they have just a few states. For Mexico to be able, it's tough to concentrate the edicts somewhere, and even if you did, you're kind of gimping the rest of your nation because other provinces start to be emptied out, which is not ideal as well. So maybe just putting your entire population in one province is the ideal way to play. I mean, maybe someone in Asia. You just need a small nation that has a good access to resources and good population. I don't know what you mean. It kinda is because of the even a few seconds delay between us is too much. And yeah. So, but anyways, Belgium is a bit behind on. Oh, you mean it kinda is putting all your population in one state? Yeah, probably because you get so much efficiencies from everything. Yeah. They are not that great in tech, which is probably because they just don't have that many universities. And their companies are still focused on, I guess this one is understandable. Though their bonus kinda sucks. Mortality for prestige for them. And without this, they probably wouldn't be. It probably wouldn't be a major power, but I guess it's good construction bonuses. I'm not sure about those two. I don't think they're building any more like iron or lead mines. Yeah, they're not building much of anything. They have. They are not even using their full construction currently. Yeah, they have 0 peasants. I assume they have full. And yeah, it is biting them a bit. They're behind on tech. They could automate a lot more if they were on point with that. And as is, they are missing a bit of possible. Yeah, for example, electricity would be great in Belgium, and they just don't have access to it yet. Also, I was wondering how is their cash situation. It's fine. They even have highest possible wages for some reason. Maybe to increase their standard of living to be able to boast after the session, who knows. Yes, Switzerland's still beating them. And then Germany, and then somehow Austro-Hungary is number 5, which I'm not sure how that happened, especially with number 4, especially with AI being at the helm for a bit of. But then there's Italy, United States. Yeah, it looks like the player nations are dominating, and I'm surprised there are not some tiny nations with gold mines that are at one spot. Though I guess this region is is having some issues. Oh wow, that's a good play from AI. Yeah, I'm not sure how much. Just go to debt and let Germany pay. Is Germany paying your debt? I mean, you don't have issues with money, honestly. You just don't need that much construction anyways. Okay, I think that now that Belgium actually has... No, their tech is not that great. They have pretty nice loyalists. They are the only major power, and I think they have... They are not in top 3 in anything. Of course, the military side is going to be not that great. Though at this point, like, I think if Belgium really built up, they could have a substantial military. Of course, not to be able to stand up to, for example, Germany, but Spain with their current military. Should they go to B or A? I think they will go to B for this session, but considering for the first time in all those previous sessions, I think they might be, if they get all those colonies they want in this area, I think they will be getting stronger, just using the Portugal strategy, but with actual good core land. So they might be going back into A, which they were, I think, after the first session or somewhere like that. I'm being positive for the outlook this time. I'm not being pessimistic. It's the huge difference. I'm just saying that at this current moment, it's not that great, but it could get actually much better with a few more million troop population. Maybe they could get into the great power even. I guess Belgium is the last, but I think it's possible for them, maybe. No, I don't think Belgium is reaching it, but that's what I'm not saying. Yeah. I keep forgetting to remove the wheel, though I guess it doesn't really, it's not much of a problem. Yeah, it will go down from here if France invades it, surely. I'm talking about France. France is an AI nation, so I'll just take a quick look so we know where it's standing in the grand scheme of things. SGP, apparently people were telling me that even if you... Well, if you do become GP, you have to have your own market, but you can have prestige to be GP but stay in the market. You're just not kicked out, which I thought you would be, but apparently it's not the case. So you could be a GP, just stay in the market, like, you know, theoretical GP. So the French institutions are interesting. Kinda bad. Did they integrate all of this? Well, a good chunk of it. Which I guess is historical, but maybe not optimal. They do have, I think, something more here. No, that's the... no more cores in this area. Let's see some just raw stats. They do have a good enough GDP to be a great power. They are still a fair amount ahead of Italy, for example. Literacy is alright for an AI. Radicals are not too bad and mostly in colonies from what it looks. Though it barely has any population, so it's not that relevant. Their market is starved for rubber and glass. and oil and engines. I think they're buying from me as well. And they have a land route, so it's easier for them too. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's perfectly workable. They have not much construction, but they have a giant surplus and low taxes and wages that would go down as well. Quick look at tech as well. They're finished with H3. Finished with H3 in military too. And finishing H3 in society. So I think France is super playable still. Yeah. So that's... They will go into B, I guess. And if we get a player for France, definitely. I wonder how they are compared to Great Britain. I guess a quick look at the laws as well. Private schools and health insurance, that's kind of sucky. Commercialized agriculture, that's interesting. Protectionism, rights of assembly. Yeah, it's fine, except the private things. So eventually, maybe with enough trade unions, they could change it. Yeah, surprisingly well. They even lost a bit of their core land, and still, it didn't really affect them. Well, they are running down with GDP. I can see data for them for some reason. They haven't been, though I guess it's 100% growth over the last 20 years more or less, with some dips here and there. Yeah, definitely very playable if someone wants them eventually. And I think it's Spain? Yes. Which I forgot to show you. There it is. No, there isn't. It's gone. Spain. Okay, so first of all, there's some issues with cash. They are, because they were AI for so long, they are kind of unbuilt when it comes to GDP, and something has been... First of all, why can I see the last 50 years for them and I couldn't for anyone else? Seeing this graph for the entire game would be really nice. And oh, they were in some civil war, I think, right? Last session, probably. Literacy is okay, not that many. A fair amount of radicals, but it's not too bad actually. Catholic Church is still super strong. Landowners are super weak. The only reason they are in power is because of the monarch. In this case, it might be possible worth it to just go as much as possible to remove the current king and switch to the next one, so we can just get rid of landowners, because they're just removing 10% income. It's just annoying. Oh, it's because they were AI for so long. Oh, of course. You're probably right. It doesn't make sense still, but you're probably right. The Catholic Church being so strong is pretty annoying. Especially since it's charity hospitals and religious schools, they're not going to be willing to change that. They are changing to commercialized agriculture, which would be a way to switch into public schools and healthcare if they get more powerful trade unions. So that's a good priority, honestly. Per capita taxation, interventionism, not laissez-faire. Even though their industrialists would love it. Yeah, I think laissez-faire is much as long as you're building up, you probably should be on laissez-faire, unless you cannot for some reason. Then, well, first of all, switch from traditionalism, then go to laissez-faire, and then once either you build everything, you can go interventionism, or you can go for the communism memes, which are of course very fine in all situations, but for just the build-up phase for removing the peasants, laissez-faire is just so much better, because you basically get 100% more construction, I suppose, because you get reduced from 50% to 25. Yeah, so you can have twice the amount of construction. They are not getting proportional taxation anytime soon, but if they get trade unions more power, then maybe. Yeah, but that's 25% extra money, but also yeah, that's how percentages work. Never mind. It's just super good. And extra company, let's not forget that. Extra company is also super good. Yeah, this company is not doing anything for them currently. I'm surprised, but I guess with all the gold mines being so prosperous, some of them have to be below average. Yeah, but as it is, it's not doing anything. They probably should switch into something else to get more construction. They're getting motor industries, which is a waste of time. They should just import from Austria. Plantations, where can they get rubber? Why is it? Oh, it's because it's fully built, so it's the same color as in places where there's none. Okay, this makes great sense. Thanks, Paradox. Sunday Island, oh yeah, and they can build a bit more in. And it's actually gonna be a fair amount, like 30, 20 to 30 rubber plantations. That's something. At least for them, they're probably not using that much themselves. They have super expensive glass, and they are on the steel construction, so that's hurting their money. Actually, I need to look at their money soon. Rubber is still very expensive. They are trading a fair amount still. Engines, ammunition. They're not at war or anything, so that's actually surprising. That I don't think happens often. And they are even importing. They do have a fair amount of military, I guess. Coal expensive, fertilizer, ooh. That's a lot of very important goods. Paper is at least decent price, steel is decent price, tools, very cheap. Sulfur, oh my god, sulfur is so cheap in Spain. And there's plenty of sulfur all over the place. Just because you're not producing yourself, Mati, that doesn't mean that there's going to be a problem to get it. There seems to be plenty of sulfur to go around. They can raise taxes and they don't have that many radicals, so they can solve this issue. Yeah, they probably should want to, because they don't have laissez-faire, so their interest is actually 50k. If they removed all their credit, they would be at 100k positive, which would mean they could get a lot more construction, though just getting more glass would probably help them. Can they import glass from someone? Even from Qing, of all places. I'm surprised only Qing and the British market are offering them glass at decent prices. Maybe we have a global crisis of convoys. Yeah, maybe AI definitely doesn't build enough production for pretty much everything, so that's very possible that in single player you have issues with, well, everything, unless you produce it yourself. They're actually almost finished with production H3, that's pretty nice. More than halfway done with military H3, that's not too bad. And the same with society H3, so that's actually, considering they've been AI for so long, not too bad. They could build a few more universities just for their even current literacy. Honestly, not too bad. They do have an unacceptable government, which does suck a little bit. They can't get anything better currently. Wait, that's because of the... Yeah, that's fine. It was just the taxes. Well, they are still kind of in the phase of changing the laws to. They didn't have a lot of time being played, so AI was just making. AI seems to be making pretty much random moves on the laws, more or less. And the institutions definitely could use some more work, though at the same time, I guess more law enforcement is also nice, and don't really want to power those because it empowers the church as well. So yeah, Spain definitely needs more time to fix everything, though they're not doing too bad. They're still doing fine, I think. They have lots debt, and I think they should work on fixing that, because unfortunately the interest is tough in this game, despite what people on Reddit tell you. So Spain would currently go for B, I think. Let's keep going. And we have Great Britain, which is another quick AI. Let's see how they're compared to France. They do have positive income and a lot of money, which is a change compared to when they were played. They did lose a lot of their construction. And of course they also lost all the income they had from their vassals, though they're still making decent amount from all their colonies. Wow, that's some strong industrialists. Over 50%, hot damn. They do have a righteous government, 90%, that's very nice. Laws are... They are switching from right of assembly to censorship. Which is... well, sure. Wait a second. I have clicked something and now I cannot see the chat on my phone. Well, voting, that's fine. Cultural exclusion, personal army, private health insurance, which kinda sucks, honestly, I think. Per capita taxation, which I think, wow, they could make a lot more money with proportional taxation, but it's, yeah, with 50% industrialist, that's not gonna be changing anytime soon. Compulsory primary school, which the schools are public, so that's something. Laws are okay. It's gonna get worse, but that's AI for you. They are not getting their full institutions, and they could actually. They have enough bureaucracy. Yeah, money is absolutely fine. The British market is suffering from lack of rubber, despite producing a fair amount themselves. Glass as everywhere, oil, engines. Honestly, it's not too bad. It's some player markets are in a worse state. Of course, Great British market is still huge when it comes to GDP, probably. Would they be the? I think if would it be the biggest market if you? Wait, I think I can check this. Like in the ledger, markets, GDP. Oh, Bengal actually. British market is only 4th. Damn. That's actually way less than I would think. But I guess all of those nations have bigger GDP than Great Britain, so it's not that surprising, maybe. Yeah, but the health of the market is not too bad. And of course, in technology, they are doing super well. They're halfway done with H4, which is far ahead of everyone else. Starting on H4 in military, which is not great, but also not too bad. They're pretty much staying on par, I think, and they are starting on. They have Zeppelins actually. The AI. Wonder if it's actually prioritized it or this happened by accident, but that's still fine. Yeah, Great Britain and France both absolutely playable. And Great Britain, I think, even goes into A. I think they are actually in a much better. Well, not much better. They don't need that much adjustments as France. So I think both are perfectly workable. They have more loyalists than radicals. That's also pretty nice. Can you guys hear this? Probably you can. In the background. Okay, it's fine. Well then, let's keep going. 21:37. Is it? It's Austria time, I think. It is actually Austria time. Let's see, some of this stuff I will be probably seeing first for myself as well. GB also is producing some rubber themselves. I'm not sure about oil, but I did saw them producing some of it at least. Yeah, they're producing half of their own rubber, which on the grand it's pretty good compared to a lot of places. Yeah, I got screwed by AI. I got a petition to for Presidential Republic, which would be no problem. I have 53% support for it, and I could get even more if I change my government a little bit. But the issue is AI stopped going for it, so now I have to wait almost 2 years to be able to start it again. And at the same time, the petition is for 3 years, so that's a bit annoying. I will be actually, if I pass it later, the negative from the petition is going to cancel it out with how much the industrialists are going to like me, but it is a bit annoying. Though if I could get protected speech, that would be also nice, so maybe that's good. Pretty happy with my laws. I'm thinking about switching homesteading into commercialized agriculture at some point. Pissing off the rural folk yet again. They're pretty much constantly annoyed at me. Would like to switch into compulsory primary school, though I'm not sure when I will be able to get around to this. The institution... Oh, wait, I don't have full police. AI probably lowered it. AI probably lowered it, which is annoying because I do have actually... My radicals are super concentrated in a few states, so that's actually gimping me by quite a bit. Fine. I am losing a lot of money at this very current moment, though it's not an issue. I wonder if it will change itself after like a week or two on post. I don't remember having such a huge deficit. Yeah, I'm not sure why. Yeah, construction queue is 5 pages of military. Yeah, I guess fine. Well, whatever. At least the capitalists are building good stuff. Market rubber, of course, is super low in Austria-Hungary because I'm not producing any myself. I'm importing almost all of it from America, also a bit from Germany, and more from America, and so from British, which is 50% American and more American. I have 3 trade routes with America, which I guess means that Mexico made one or something. So I could be producing many more cars, but I just don't have enough rubber. I have even the high price of it. I jumped even more than it was before. Oh yeah, we trade. I'm trading a ton. Like apparently I have a lot of trade centers compared to some people. And I need to prune my trade routes. As you can see, a ton of them are making a negative. Though also a lot of them are not costing me any convoys or any administration. But yeah, their revenue is annoying. The issue is it's kind of annoying to remove trade routes when we're playing in multiplayer because they just keep on jumping and there's lag and I keep cancelling good trade routes at the same time. That's a bit annoying. Also the trade routes keeps changing because I keep gaining positive and negative convoys. Actually, I was wondering, how are my ports doing? Do they have at least full employment? They do. Maybe I should as well just build up max ports. Probably not here. Even in Montenegro. Yeah, maybe I should just build up full ports and see what happens. So I have a good amount of convoys as well myself. What, bro? Look at how much population Montenegro has. Like 1/4 population is working in those ports. There are no peasants left in those. Well, I do? Yeah, it must be AI. Yeah, I probably switched it over here because of the Montenegro, because it's a terrible province. I mean, sure, it's losing money, but the ports are not making money anyways. Maybe not enough qualifications? Yeah, it looks like it was just in this one place. Technology, I am starting on production 3, which I think means I'm on par with like France, so it's actually not too bad. Military is about as good as Great Britain. Though not that I look at it, if I get siege artillery, it requires radios, right? And I cannot build radios for a while. So probably need to think about that a little bit. And I'm done with... I probably should rush Zeppelins next. Why did I go for defense in depth? I know. I guess I had a reason. No, wait. Maybe it was AI? Maybe it was AI. Probably should get some stuff from this society. Maybe like minting. 10% mint at 26k. Maybe not that worth it. The radios would be also nice. So I will need to think about that. I will also need to think a lot about my companies, because they're all at low productivity. Even my oil rigs, which actually is a very good company. But I don't think I'm using enough oil in my own market right now. Yeah, Skoda gives a bonus to Siege RT. But it's not prosperous anyway. And I think I will need to look at this. I'm wondering if it's because... either because my capitalists are building those industries all over the place, which is causing them to be not really productive, or I'm suffering because I have a lot of states compared to probably most nations, and a lot of them have very low population as well. Shortage of electricity. I wasn't building any electricity, so I guess AI started it, and that means I will have a whole another thing to think about. Is it just here? No. They built it in quite a few places. Oh, it might have been, I guess, capitalist as well? No, it doesn't seem like they just built them randomly. Plastics, what does the plastics tech do? It was, I think, somewhere here. Oh, it's a new production method for glassworks. Oil and lead for... I would actually really like that as well. I do have a lot of oil, and I would like my oil rigs to be more prosperous. I don't think I've even built all of them. Well, most of them. Yeah, I also have the problem. I don't have much use for oil, honestly. Yeah, so most of the AI stuff is pretty manageable, honestly. Like that my landowners are sticking around in power just to be pissed off about everything, but they, like, also nobody cares about them. I don't think that many people were pissed off, but maybe that's because the AI switched my laws, as in switched from voting for presidential into protected speech. But I guess if they're not revolting, that's fine, maybe. I mean, Austria goes just into A. I mean, it's great power, probably, except for the construction, which apparently I have a huge amount, and now I'm paying for it somehow. I wasn't losing money that much before, so I'm not sure what's going on. I was on middle taxes and I was fine. So I'm not sure what did AI do. But maybe it will fix itself after a few weeks. But let's keep going. Maybe we're not going to be below 2 hours. Of course, USA is going to skip, and we're going into Germany. Filthy Germany, who abused my misclick to gain additional 3 million population and 17 million GDP. Shake my head. Damn, that pollution impact is huge. And it is with max healthcare as well. Actually, it's not that bad. It's -1 standard of living, -3 migration attraction, plus 19% mortality. How does that work? Yeah, but they have huge enough numbers that it actually doesn't matter that much. Let's look at Germany from the top, of course. A lot of loyalists. People do love them. Strong industrialist. Good government. No how do you call them? Worker unions that I can see. Shouldn't they be? Oh, never mind. They are switching to commercialized agriculture, so more will be appearing probably. Well voting. So they're a republic, but they have well voting. Okay, that's interesting. National supremacy in Germany, which isn't that causing them some culture issues? It actually is. They have good few million people being discriminated. I wouldn't be well, they actually cannot move because there's migration control. I'm surprised they have such low radicals when they have a good amount of discrimination going on. Maybe it's because they have such high standard of living, people are okay with it. Just a little bit of discrimination. Protected speech, compulsory primary school, very good. Per capita taxation, that's something to think about, but with such strong industrialists, that's not gonna change anytime soon. They're going to level 5 education, so they must switch their primary school pretty recently. Joacho, I agree with you. I think together we could solve this issue. Okay, the budget is doing absolutely fine. They are at negative right now, but that's actually almost all unrealized taxes. They also have a lot of authority. Oh, they have ruler trait that gives plus 100 and plus 5 and from popularity. Yeah, they have some good people in government giving them a good amount of authority. Oh, they are... Wait. They are using all of their... I think they are using all of their government construction. It's just private construction is taking more, which does lower the cost as well, I suppose. And their capitalists are building a ton of stuff. Oh my god. There's a lot of buildings. And some of them are built in colonial regions as well. So that means they probably... well, could they afford more? Well, I guess if they wanted to go into higher taxes, but if they're having negative income on medium wages, medium taxes, with 20% rather than 25% construction. Oh yeah, what I'm going to be checking now, actually, So Germany is making 1.8 million. I was thinking about how much people are making in money. Yeah, I'm making 300,000 less. I guess maybe because construction goods are cheaper in Austria. So I'm paying for full 25% construction. I do have less ports. So I'm spending 21k on ports. How much is USA spending on ports? It's having some fun times, I see. But USA is spending on ports 200,000, which is more than they are spending on government administration. Which is, it is a fair amount, especially if you add another 100k for steamers. Still, they are spending like construction goods, even in their state it's almost 700,000. Oh, how much USA was making money? 1.8. So America is actually making more money than Germany currently, right? 1.8. They're making almost the same. What I'm wondering about is there a linear connection between GDP and income in the grand scheme of things? And for now it looks like there is. Let's see how much. Bengal is probably making a bit less, simply because they might not even have full taxation capacity. Yeah, they are building a bit less, and yeah, they are just missing out of taxes. Who's next in GDP? Next is Russia. So I'm expecting they're making like about 1.5 million if it's just correlated to GDP. Yeah, and more or less that's what they're making. I think everyone is on per capita taxation. I guess if everyone switched to proportional taxation, it would be a bit different. But per capita, it's connected to just basic GDP and not that much to population. So despite what the name would suggest. And China is irrelevant. How much is Great Britain making? Great Britain is a bit different because they're making also 200,000 from their colonies. And they have, don't they have, oh, they also have per capita. But they're making a fair amount less. I guess I'm not looking into consumption taxes, and those can be huge. But they also have a fair amount GDP. So yeah, for the time being, it looks like it's pretty much just directly connected with GDP. There's not like someone in number 8 earning more money than number 2 or something like that, except if they're just not collecting those taxes. So I guess that maybe biggest part of construction is also the cost of Germany is not spending anything on ports, and they have 1/3 more or less of what the United States have. Why is the cost so huge? They're spending 30k once again. They're spending 30k on wages for ports, and they have 17k convoys. USA has 57k convoys and spending 200k on ports. Something is not adding up here, at least to me. Am I missing something, or does it look like the United States is paying like 8 more despite having only 3 times more convoys? Right? Because I guess the price, oh, maybe because of this, no, Germany has higher standards of living as well. But why would your wages be higher in ports? What are they connected to? Like average wage in the country? Germans do have much higher quality of life. well, much higher by a point, but still, it's not lower. Let me look at. When can I see his wage? Well, comparing this between two countries would be very annoying, so I'm not going to do this. But still, Germany also has higher GDP per capita as well, I think, right? Yeah, and somehow they have much lower wages. Oh, Germany has better ports. Okay, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So it's just skill issue for Joachim, of course. Yeah. Suddenly it all became clear. Just complaining about his ports instead of just getting better tech. Shake my head. Would you look at that? And they're not even fully switching, except probably there's one state. Yeah. No, few. Oh, Anchorage is not using clippers. I was wondering if they're using clippers somewhere, but no. I would actually want to get modern ports as well, just to use that oil, and it'd be a great way to get more convoys. Okay, but let's get back to actual Germany. Yeah, not full police, but I guess when they have so few radicals, doesn't really matter. Fine cash. Market, I think when we look at it, it was okay. There's no perfect market, I think, in the game currently. And they do have pretty low. Oh yeah, they were producing much more oil than I would expect just from Germany itself. Apparently in Hanover and Elbe they have 30 here, and I guess another 30 here. Yeah, more or less. They will probably discover those eventually. So they are pretty much at their capacity. They're going for, yeah, they have quite a lot of H4 in production. Halfway done with military full ports as well. Yeah, it looks like Germany is definitely the most advanced nation technologically, but I think the difference is like Great Britain starts with a higher advantage than what Germany has currently. Yeah, they have a good amount of universities, which is what you need. What are they building? They're just building motor industries. And their companies are all prosperous, of course, including the one that's using the groceries. There is something I don't understand about Germany. Oh yeah, there was one theory I had, maybe why Germany is growing so fast. Maybe it's because they have so many. If you look at all their states, for example, when you compare it to Austria-Hungary, Bohemia is by far my strongest state because it has so much population at the start of the game. Now it's growing everywhere, so it's a few millions in most places. But Germany has a lot of very good states, I think, even in the beginning of the game. So maybe they just get a huge bonus from stacking up industry early in those places. And getting this, how's it called? Throughput bonus from economy of scale. Maybe that's what giving them such a huge bonus. Because otherwise I feel like I'm kind of missing something in why Germany is so strong. I want to see how the states in Germany by GDP. Maybe here? No. And still, well, Silesia, Saxony, Hesse, Franconia. Oh yeah, that's true. That's a very good point. They have a good start because all those German miners kickstart their economy a little bit. That's a good point. So now they're just snowballing from a point further ahead a little bit. Yeah, you're right. And yeah, maybe that's just it. They just have they're like 5 or even if they were 5 years ahead in the construction game, that's huge in this game. We have like pretty much 5-year sessions, and things are actually different every time I compare those tier lists. So maybe that's even just that is enough. And having good states, of course, doesn't hurt. Yeah, just every state does have some bonuses. I think, does the game give you like money for existing? Is it like base value of minting? It's not much, but still, with so many states, maybe it's actually coming up to something. Yeah, but Germany definitely as by far the strongest nation in the game currently, in pretty much, well, other than just raw amount of GDP, though. They would they be able to overtake Bengal? 100 million? I don't think. Maybe if the... No, I don't really see it. Maybe with the colonies? They will get a lot more population. And then if they got like 50 million more population, then I'm not sure how many people live in those places. Well, maybe not 50 million. Yeah, maybe getting this much population might be difficult. Maybe if the colonies, they would be able to compete with Bengal long term. They do have already less population than US by 50 million. So I'm not sure. It's going to be interesting to see. And let's keep going. Yeah, 5 free constructions. Well, oh, Persia. We couldn't have a tier list without someone being in a revolution. I think they are switching to the capitalist revolution, right? So this is the one I should be looking at. Persia for segment of Europe, of course. As you do. Right, they are switching to capitalists. Oof. I'm pretty sure I saw them talking about this in their... They do have proportional taxation. I wonder what's the difference between them and... they are thinking about it. So let's just compare their laws currently. They do have proportional taxation, that's interesting. So what was the Cold War about? Maybe I can see it if they're still passing it. No. Not sure what the revolt is about. Autocracy, monarchy. I'm betting that guy is landowners, and the son is church. Wonderful. I love monarchy. Still local police force, no health system, which is surprising with powerful church, and they have 26%. Well, now still with the revolution, but probably they would be pretty strong anyways. Health system should be possible to pass. I mean, the grand scheme of things, not too bad in many ways. But it's kind of like all over the place, the laws, and a lot of them need something to do, and just every law is at least a few years of change. Like monarchy, I mean, with 2 rulers being in a pretty bad interest group, you probably want to change it. That's few years. Autocracy, at this point probably your authority is not that helpful. So you probably want to switch from this. Racial segregation is fine probably for Persia if they're not expanding, and state religion because it's all. Let's see if that pops. Yeah. Wait. They only have 2 million population. Oh, they're tiny. Oh wait, that's that's because they're a revolt. Of course. Yeah, that's 11 million. It's fine. State, it's about state eves. Oh my god. Joasha, what did you, no, that's not a separation. That's still in that direction, but that's not the same. That's gonna wouldn't be too bad to get this. How they're doing on religions. Wait, Sunnis are accepted? With state religion? And they have... What? How can... No, they're all discriminated. I guess it's just something not showing correctly. Yeah, they are all discriminated. That's working how I would think it should be. And the presidential republic, which would be fine probably. I mean, even armed forces is better than landowners or church at this point of the game. He is a royalist, of course, but it would change. Yeah, there's not much point into looking at stuff like income and so on, because it's all going to be screwed. They are part of the British market. I guess I can look at their technology, which is honestly not too far behind. Oh, the society part, which, yeah, if they were up in society, they would be actually better than South American states. But that unrecognized power penalty is bad. I mean, they have almost 50% penalty to technology spread. They are unfortunately super behind. Yeah, I guess in this game you have to go for recognition as soon as possible. Is Japan is still not recognized, right? Wow, yeah, that's rough. And they do have censorship as well. Yeah, honestly, there's really not much to talk about Persia because of the revolt. Very hard to say. I mean, it would be 15 million. They are focusing their tech where they should be, but they go into C because it's very hard to judge them. So I guess if they were stable, they would be alright. But as they are in this current moment, they go into C. I wonder if they which side they choose, and if someone's going to intervene. I think United States now. Okay. I think Great Britain is participating in this civil war already, right? Yeah. That's good if they want to stay, but if they want to switch into revolt, that's rough. So let's look at the United States. Pretty bad construction. A revolt going on. It's not gonna fire anytime soon. And enact private health insurance. That's a bit annoying though, because it's not related to the current law. And you want to keep public health insurance as much as possible. Universal suffrage would change the clout for interest groups a bit. Who is supporting this? It's the industrialists. They're not gonna lose that much power. Though they actually don't have... They have only 21% compared to some nations. It's not that much. Intelligentsia is Super supported. 30%, that's a lot for them. And Yeoman farmers, of course. And the landowners are still actually in power. This might be an annoying revolution, just those events you're going to be getting from this. Do you have any plan how to get rid of this, Joacha? It might not fire anytime soon, but also I don't really see an obvious way to get rid of it without passing private health insurance, which you probably don't want. There's actually a fair amount of radicals. Not that much, 1/4. I guess, yeah, United States have a huge population. Otherwise, laws, of course, state atheism, elected bureaucrats, national military, guaranteed liberties. That's actually probably going to slow down quite a bit. Public schools, public health insurance is just the United States that never will be. Homesteading still, per capita taxation, interventions. You're not laissez-faire, Georgia? Apparently never. Yeah, so that's why you're so behind on construction, and you have so much debt, so much interest. Ooh. Yeah, they are kind of PC right now, but it's not gonna just. Yeah, I guess they will get happy enough, and it's not going to be firing anytime soon. Though it is a bit annoying. You might get some rough events, and depending on how fast they get happy. Though I guess your radicals and loyalists are very located. Wait, the radicals only affect by -1? And loyalists affected by +12? Really? That's kind of weird, right? Is it because of the granted liberties? No. Yeah, but I don't. It's like 17 million radicals, which is about well, less than quarter, but a fair amount. Is only giving you summarized -2 points of approval. I guess. Meanwhile, loyalists give you. I guess it's based on the percentages of population in those interest groups, and you do have you have census suffrage. Like, I don't think usually it is that this small amount of loyalists give you so much bonus approval, and this huge amount of radicals gives you. Let's compare it to other nations. Maybe I'm just missing something. Well, they do have similar bonuses with many more loyalists. Some of it has more radicals. France, maybe? Yeah, but it's -1, -2, even though it's like half radicals percentage-wise. Yeah, so Joacha is confirmed to be safe editing the game, which he calls gaming the system. That's interesting. But anyways, so that's that. Institutions, increasing workplace safety office. So I guess it gives you two things. It increases the life quality of the lower strata and also reduces mortality, right? this institution. I have never played with it too much. Waiting for those education, probably. I guess you're building a lot of motor. Wow. I guess when you're building stuff, you just need at least a few pages at once. But yeah, you can afford it, despite being in a fair amount of credit. 70k interest is a bit annoying though. Market, we've already looked at it. Tech, good amount of techs in production. Military, keeping up with Great Britain at least, so not too bad, though probably should focus about the ports a bit more. And companies. Yeah, I think probably you'd want ports before at least the international exchange standard. You don't need port. Okay. Giorgio keeps complaining about his convoys for the last week, and now he says you don't need ports. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you have a lot of text. And a fair amount of universities too, so that makes all the sense. Wait, what? You don't have really that many negative trade routes. And for the most part, you want to keep everything that's positive, right? Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna play 7 years again, I don't think we're gonna get so many techs as you're promising. Still, it would be a fair amount, but not amazing stuff. So how strong is United States compared to Germany? Their military pretty much sucks. Construction is worse. GDP is good. The tech is really nice, and the market is pretty good. I guess I'll save you some nulls and put United States into S, unless someone now is going to spend their nulls on putting it up, but who knows. Egypt. Egypt? Yes. This time not in a civil war. So now it's Persia in a civil war. It's always one of those two. In a better position when it comes to finances, at least debt-wise. Could get into positive income as well. They have high military wages. Were they AI at the very end of the session? I think they might have been. No. Not in the end, I think. Egypt, apparently they have rate of assembly from the start of the game, which I mean is pretty nice, but that's interesting considering they also start with closed borders. Private health insurance, which is a bit annoying. Commercial as agriculture, that's nice. Per capita taxation, as most places. They could get a fair amount of money from it, though not as much as some other great powers. I guess that's need a bit more industry for it to be worth it, and plantations are not most optimized for that tax income. Yeah, it's not. They're not improving their health system because probably not that worth it, especially with their low-ish standards of living. A lot more ports, a lot more lead, apparently. Food industries, rubber plantations, quite far away, honestly. more rubber plantations. This might be with Egypt construction of 300. Might be quite a while before we see some rubber from Egypt, which I guess for them is fine because they're not really. I assume they're not really using it for themselves. Yep. And let's see, they're actually one of the smallest. I guess no, Persia joined the British market, so I guess Egypt market is the smallest independent player market in game, though I guess Spain has in theory lower GDP. No, they actually have higher. Japan has higher, of course. Yeah, looks like Egypt is the smallest independent market, which is something to applaud even in of itself. But they are paying a price for it. Yeah, not enough coal. They might not be even able to get more for themselves. And no, they could actually be gaining a lot more. Not from peasants, but engines. Yeah, they do need ports, clothes, fertilizer, ironclads. But then steel. I'm not sure why they're building so much more lead. Maybe it's for USA. Maybe someone asked them to build more lead mines, but for themselves they don't really need it. Maybe they want to import less or something. Honestly, for not doing too bad. Are they on? They might not be on iron. They are on steel frame buildings, so they have low prices of steel and glass. They don't have that much construction. Hey, hey.
Mind if I see you started without me? I suppose there is some things to explain, and it is like a disclaimer. Egypt was ruled by the AI for about a third of the game of the last session. So
yeah, I was wondering, why are you building lead mines?
lead mines. It was because of glass.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to increase glass industry, and lead is necessary for that.
I mean, you're doing pretty okay on both glass and lead, unless you're going to be expanding your construction. A lot of people have
it
much.
It wasn't the case at the start of the session.
Oh yeah, okay.
Things balanced a little bit, so I might reconsider. I want to put that rubber a bit to the forefront instead.
Okay, but other than coal and engines, I'm not sure if you were listening to the stream, but you are the smallest.
No, I had to go AFK for it.
Yeah. I think you're the smallest independent market, and you're doing pretty well, honestly, for like covering your own needs. Pretty much. Other than coal.
Yes,
Coal is pretty
I have fairly extensive maritime trade network.
Yeah, I realize that. Let's see your tech. Not that much done in production, H3, unfortunately. Though I guess you're getting the most important stuff with rubber already there and oil.
Yes.
Though I checked and
oil.
I don't think we're going to be getting Egyptian rubber that soon, like maybe within 10 years, but not much faster.
Yes. My goal is, now that I'm getting the pump checks next, as you can see, I want to electrify Egypt, which will probably done, well, maybe not next session, but I can imagine it in 2 sessions.
Yeah, might be quite a while. We do have a fair amount of universities, and this tech is almost done. So maybe your military is super behind, unfortunately. Might need to check out
not particularly necessary for
yeah, but might want to look into how the Ottomans are doing if they're not doing some random focusing on actual relevant techs to make sure you're prepared. And society is, well, started on H3. You are quite behind, but well, you are recognized though, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, but literacy is, I assume, no, has been quite high. I guess for comparison, Persia just ignored completely society, so maybe they look more ahead in certain tech areas, but Yeah, that's just when you start as unrecognized, that's pretty rough. Japan had an advantage because they just had super high literacy from relatively early, so they were able to overcompensate it for a little bit. You're not laissez-faire. Oh, you're trying to
No,
pass it, right?
I was trying to pass laissez-faire, as can be seen in the previous stream, for those interested, but and there was a revolution, which at the time didn't look like it will erupt. And there was fairly good chance that the laissez-faire would pass, but I was struck with the two negative roles regarding that laissez-faire law and the radicalism. Even despite my tries to pick the choices in the Civil War events that would lower it, still managed to grow out of proportion, and there would have been a civil war, which I would not have been able to manage if I didn't stop passing the law. So I was forced to withdraw that legislative proposal.
Yep. Oh wait, actually, now that I look at it, Ottomans have 60 battalions and you have 175. So yeah,
Yes.
either way, it's not going to be much of an issue, and you're going to be getting Cyprus. But I think Egypt
Yes.
is going to be
Well,
doing.
Cyprus is not that much of a
Yeah,
lifesaver for.
it's one of the all Ottoman states have been pretty much getting depopulated by the British market for the last few decades. So
Yes, but
the
thankfully
British
Iraq still
market
should
is
be. Well, the Iraqi provinces still should be around 2 million people in total.
well, like combined, it's 1.5 million,
Or,
I think.
well, 1.5, but
Yeah,
still
so
a lot.
it's a fair amount, but I think the Ottoman, they might have less troops than they started with. Well, they shouldn't actually. They are growing, not everywhere. In some places there's more migration outside than there is population growth. I assume mostly in the mostly in areas where they are discriminating. Oof. Yeah, this lesson for Ottomans: do not join the British market. It's not good for you. Okay, so thanks for that, Kimi. I think I will be giving Egypt a B, I suppose.
Very well.
Yeah, I think it's fine, but it is an independent nation that's in its own market, so that's pretty tough setup to play. But you are doing well, and you had a rough start in many ways, and it's not like you have a giant population or something that you have like less population than Portugal, for example, still. So it's mainly about you competing with Persia, though Persia currently is impossible to judge correctly, so that's gonna be it.
Very well.
And we go to the next nation.
See everyone.
Yeah, you need to be careful about maybe even joining would be fine for Ottomans, but they should either fix their quality of life to be somewhere on par or just leave relatively quickly. But then you just distract your market, so maybe it's I guess you should have very different priorities when you're in someone's market and you're losing pops. For example, when you're someone like Mexico who's losing all the population to the United States. But anyways, Russia currently losing a ton of money.
No, not that.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. Oh.
Is it something temporary or is it?
Shouldn't be.
Even with the highest, well, it's doing the bug again.
Because I looked to save myself, I'm on minus 462 itself. Not okay.
What?
Either way, I've still got 24.5 million reserve.
Yeah, the reserves are fine, but I'm just looking at what the numbers it's showing me and just switching those taxes around. It's just showing random numbers. I have no clue what's going on. Just I lower taxes and it's so showing more loss and so on. This game, man.
Oh, because you've put living wages on medium.
Yeah, but
Yes,
look at this. Look at this. I'm keeping the wages the same, switching between two taxes, and it was showing me like 5 different numbers until I switch through like everything that was cached or something, and then it's switching into 2 relevant numbers, or no, even not then. Just
Fair enough.
I guess it's because it's paused. I have no clue why it's showing this stuff. Anyways, about Russia, you're still autocracy. You might be the last big autocracy in the game.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to be switching to census suffrage, the start of next session. I got enough support for it.
Oh yeah,
And
you have huge support for it.
Yeah, and those opposing it aren't an issue.
Yeah, the landowners will be pissed, but they're quite weak, so shouldn't be an issue. Laissez-faire, free trade, per capita taxation. But
I've also already got
fine.
3 of the political issues popping up, what they call.
Sorry?
I've already got 3 political movements, so they can't get a 4th.
Oh. In the enact women in the workplace, oh, that would be... actually, for you, that it's not that important, I guess.
Not yet.
You have private health insurance. That's kind of sucky.
I do want to switch from it, but
Yeah.
it was that or charity hospitals, and I did not want to strengthen the valve.
Yeah, either that. It's pretty rough. Just want to channel that initial church power into getting public health insurance, but sometimes it's just not to be. You do have a compulsory primary school though. That's pretty nice. 6.6 literacy.
I mean, that's the ruler being intelligentsia.
Oh yeah, and reformer, and the next guy is going to be armed forces, but also reformer, which is pretty nice. I would love to have a monarch that's not goddamn landowners. Yeah, a fair amount of radicals, but not too much of an issue, I assume.
It's only trade unions.
The market is looking super good, honestly. Clothes are a bit expensive, but it's not like it's that important.
It's all the peasants becoming labourers.
Yeah, all the industrial goods, honestly, are pretty cheap. Glass, fertilizer, paper, explosives. Engines are at 0, steel. That is pretty good, I have to say. Yeah, and you're like the only one. I think there's no other nation in the Russian market, right?
No, it's just me. I don't force people to join my market.
Yeah, you could have Afghanistan join.
Probably work on conquering them.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they have a fair amount of. It's 5 million population, man. That's not too bad.
I don't want to go for them yet until I get multicultural of them.
Oh yeah.
I've already got the Chinese to worry about.
And then the Chinese, yep. If you get some more population, you might be able to compete with like Bengal for the end game. Because I think it's going to be between you, Bengal, United States, and maybe if Germany gets enough pops from colonies, maybe they also will be able to compete for the first spot. But
I think it's going to be between me, Bengal, and China.
I was thinking about the first GDP, like in GDP.
Oh, yeah. In which case, yeah, I think long term it's going to be me, Bengal, and the USA. The only thing it doesn't have enough pops to do it.
Yeah, I was thinking that maybe if Germany gets enough colonies, but the pops in this area is actually not as much as I thought, so maybe they won't be able to compete. We'll see how well they do with those colonial empires. How's your tech? Actually, not too bad. You're finishing production free. Military is about as much as everyone else, pretty much. And you're getting, rushing to Zeppelins.
There's a reason why I overbuild universities. Because if you look at my spread, it's near enough the same as having my research.
Oh, yeah, you're really...
So I'm effectively researching 4 techs.
Yeah, I mean, you usually get... and you have minus 20% from censorship and rural folk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And you do have pretty decent literacy at this point of the game.
Yes,
so it's,
but that's what will allow me to catch up.
Yeah, not too bad. Companies still with the logging camps. I was thinking about changing some of the companies myself, so not sure if you're planning on doing that.
Possibly.
Yeah, you'll get 5% for you with minting is quite a bit of money, so that's pretty good. Yeah, I think Russia goes into solid A. I don't think you're quite at the level of like Germany and USA, but I think you're pretty damn close at this point. Maybe next session, if you play for more than goddamn 5 years, maybe you will have time.
Fair enough.
Okay, let's start finishing this. Man, it always takes way more than I think. I always hope we get less than 2 hours, but we end up. Well, we will be less than 3 at least, so that's good. Next, it's gonna be either Italy or Mexico for Sick Man of Europe. Let's see who wins this. It is going to be Italy, the Sick Man of our Europe.
I'm gonna head off then.
Okay, see you. They have quite a bit of that. Oh, they are okay. Once they lower their military wages, though, this is not looking super great. Why are you spending your? Oh, you're bolstering trade unions. This is a fair. I guess with. Do you have laissez-faire? Yeah, with laissez-faire and being a great power, that is not that much of a problem. But I don't like playing with over 50% of my credit because if like sudden wars were to happen or something, and you never know. Paying that down is going to be taking time. Oh, you actually used emergency relief. Yeah, I only used it for let's say you get an event that you can use it. But I think oh, you actually got the event, yeah. I think, does it even work if you don't have the institution? Oh, you do have the institution, I guess. And it says plus 20%, so maybe it does work even when you don't have anything. So I'm not sure how useful that would be. Protected speech, very nice. Laissez-faire, free trade, per capita taxation. Yeah. Everyone now dreams of getting trade unions and switching into proportional taxation. That's tough, man, and that's the difficult decision. You can go from land-based taxation into proportional more easily, but it's more difficult, and per capita is so good, and you can get much faster. That's tough. So I guess at this point of the game is the additional 200k that game changing. And even in the beginning, it can be proportional taxation can be worse than per capita. That's a difficult decision to make. Public schools, public health issues, dedicated police force, so all the institutions you might want. Still child labor, still legal guardianship. So, do you have any peasants yet? You do not. So, probably. I mean. You actually, I was thinking about it, and you actually, even if you don't have any peasants, you gain like a few 100,000 per year anyways, just because of the pop growth. So even like keeping rights of women until you finish automation might be not too bad. Additional 5% might be. I actually switched from legal guardianship, but I was thinking that I got a movement for it anyways, but might always be the best decision. Yeah, at this point of the game, proportional is massive, though at like relatively early, per capita can be better than proportional, I think. But yeah, it's much more difficult to switch from per capita to proportional than from land-based to proportional. Yes, graduated taxation. Where would you want it even? It's mostly on dividends. Maybe it's better with peasants. I'm not exactly. I know it's better early. Sometimes better early, but usually it's pretty close between it and proportional. Relatively mostly prosperous companies. I'm going for steel, but that state construction efficiency is really nice. Quick look at tech. Finishing age 3. You haven't finished everything. Remember the vacuum canning. You have to be paying for this vacuum canning every time you research something else in age 3. Maybe you are just rushing the telephone, but it's 50% with just 2 techs. Because ahead of time penalties are rough, man. You're getting out to research ports, so that's going to be nice to stop those annoying Americans complaining about them keeping the international trade going, which is true, they are, but it's also annoying that they keep complaining about it. And society is, I think you're furthest behind on society. No, well, actually, wait, this is, well, you're like 3 or 4 techs behind in military, not too bad. Yeah, it's fine. How is Italy doing on prestige compared to the possible upstarts of the great powers? Wait, so I guess oh yeah, I lowered the. Oh, you have to be keeping the military wages high. I mean, still you have the additional 20% from this, so you are safe. Yeah, Italy is not falling from the great power anytime soon. Even with the competition, I think Germany is not pushing as far ahead with prestige as Great Britain was at some point, especially once Great Britain lost all the prestige they got from Bengal. I think that really lowered the pressure on prestige from the top. The one question is, do I put Italy into A or B? I think if I put France into B, that Italy probably should also be in B. For the time being, at least. Yeah, actually, let's look at the market maybe. It's not, well, it's 11%, that's a little expensive, but that's not too bad. Though still 20%. Engines. I need to increase my production of engines, I guess. People are, even I'm low on engines. Yeah, I think if France is in B and Russia is in A, then Italy probably should also be in B, unfortunately, but that's how it's got to be. And now the final roulette. It's Mexico. Yeah, I mean, it's also based on the starting positions. So, you know, Egypt is in a far worse position at the start of the game than France. So France, like, natural spot for France is in A, so they are a bit below the where they should be, but they were controlled by AI. They have to reload the stream and watch an ad. Actually, you know what I could do for this? Well, I am. If you actually have told me about this before, I could have played ads, like played them for a minute, and it removes the start of the stream ads. I should actually remember to do this before I start the stream. Usually, that would be a good idea, because then if I think you can play the ads for like 5 minutes. So before I start, I could start it, and then I would have like 1 hour without ads on start. Yeah, but maybe that's for the next one. Mexico is at least making money, and they are top 10 in GDP actually. They're super close behind Italy. That's despite having 10 million less population, so that's actually pretty impressive. That rubber is giving some dividend finally. Well, there is a small issue of giant revolution going on in almost the entirety of Mexico. Well, it's not firing anytime soon. The issue is how pissed off are the petite bourgeoisie? That they actually are not pissed at all. What? Okay, Italy goes into A. Problem solved. Why are they revolting? If they're fine, they're not even in the negatives. Won't they just leave this revolution pretty soon, or won't they just end on its own? I think it's not gonna be a big deal. Money is fine for Mexico. They can lower a lot of stuff, increase a lot of stuff. Production is 600. How much is Italy? Construction, not production. Italy is 500, so Mexico is having more. The main production of Mexico is, I assume, rubber. Yeah, but they're also a second producer of gold, and somewhere in the top with coffee, sugar, and tobacco. So I guess they have a ton of money from minting, which is how they can afford all this construction. Oh yeah. Yeah, 30,000 from gold mines in California. That's pretty nice. They are finished with production. Military, yeah, they just... there's nothing going on in Mexican military. But they are ignoring ports, so the Americans are confirmed to be sabotaging themselves and then complaining about it to the global society. And yeah, the society tech tree is also being ignored. It's all production for Mexico. How much they're producing paper? I mean, 22 is not that much. Yeah, they're not in the top 10 even. Oh wait, no. They are on the highest production method for paper. So I'm also not sure why would they even be top producer of paper. And Mexico has some weak ports, but looks like it's just in some island places. Who has political power in the country? The Conservative Party and the Free Trade Party. What? Sure, I'm not sure. Is Agustin Diaz someone I should recognize? Possibly. Oh, why do they have so much church still? They have a lot of leaders? Why do we have so many leaders? Is it AI? Oh my god. That's a lot of leaders, and they're all church. Well, this one is a Democrat. Yeah, church is still the strongest interest group. Wow. Mercantilism, which apparently we found out is not that great. I'm surprised you're not free trade, though I guess it matters less when you're in someone else's customs union. State religion still, which is what's giving the church so much power. I'm surprised church is okay with property. They support property to women? I guess they are reformer, okay. That's lucky for Mexico. They have a decent guy. You might be able to pass primary school as well. That would be really good. Apparently Japan goes for the underdog. Computer said no, yeah. Yeah, I've seen you try. I am kind of tempted to put Mexico in A, honestly. Though you do have pretty bad prospects on becoming a GP. Probably better than Belgium, but not by far. Especially since you will be staying in the customs union with United States. Companies. Rubber, gold, and no oil yet. I mean, he should be GP to retake the, ancestral Mexican lands like Mexico. 7 million, that would be almost 10% GDP for Mexico. Just being wasted by the Americans. Yeah, I guess B. So we're getting an almost a nice bell curve over here. I think that's gonna be it finally for the actual tier list. Let's do a quick vote for the awards, and then we'll be finished. Possibly before 11 o'clock, so that would be ideal. USA, if you want to nominate people, then do it now, because I need to actually create Egypt for sick man. I'm starting with sick man, so if you want to nominate someone for the sick man, then do it now. We have Persia, Egypt, and Italy, so I assume Italy is not going to be winning this. Also, I noticed that a lot, like Twitch gave me a lot more emote slots, so I should probably add something. I will think of something that will be fitting to Victoria campaign. See if the sick. Let's keep those going for 1 minute. There's no reason to. Russia for the Victoria victory, sure. Yeah, people are going for the strategy of keeping their nulls till the end, but last time we found out that it's not always the smartest strategy. You might not have time to react in time. No one is using their nulls yet. And Egypt is just not getting Yeah, looks like it's all Persian haters. No nulls used so far. Mexico to S tier, okay. Yeah, I probably should have put it in A just to save you some nulls if I did it to United States. Yeah, we're giving the awards, so during the tier list, people were getting nominations for the 3 different awards. The awards are just, you take their name, there's no further description of what they mean. There's the Sick Man of / Europe, which just went to Persia. There's the Ultimate Underdog Award, and there's the Victoria Victory. Oh, how was the question? I'm actually not sure. You have to ask someone else, because I only know how to create those and not how to actually vote. But basically you get 1 vote for free and you can spend the nulls to get additional votes. Actually, Japan and Belgium getting the Ultimate Underdog Award would be actually pretty relevant to the actual game. This would be like both are fair nations to get those. It looks like the biggest discussion is going to be between the Victoria Victory. Is it going to be the ultimate underdog in the Victoria award? Portugal, the USA, or Russia? The Japan and Belgium are underdogs for being, like, compared to GPs. Yeah, Brazil is an underdog, depending on how you exactly understand the meaning of the word. Someone is really voting for Belgium. And for Japan, nulls are actually being used. Weaponized nulls. Oh yeah, Lunabako actually had a lot of points. I didn't realize you had so many nulls. But yeah, it is Belgium that's going to be winning this. And now for the final. For next time I probably will change the awards a little bit or make something different. Unless you guys are fine just staying with the same 3 awards. Okay, looks like Russia is using their nulls early, but they're also using their actual human supporters to get votes in. Yeah, USA just using the democratic vote, but for the time being the democratic vote is not winning them the award. It's looking worse and worse. It is true that the vote is a vote against Portugal in a way. A huge dump by United States, but that's, oh my god, so many points. And Russia wins with quite a huge overkill, and it wasn't just Mati using their points. Just Mati used as many points as the entire USA team, but it wasn't just Mati voting for Russia, with nulls at least. So it is Russia winning this one. Thank you for everyone who voted for Russia. Thank you for believing in Russia. We shall remember this. Oh, a beautiful reward ceremony speech. No, it was more. It was as many people as they voted for United States. Surprisingly enough. And yeah, that's gonna be it for today. See you guys on Thursday, and yeah, I will post the tier list and awards in the channel as always. See ya.